This is a poem about the time the earth grew so cold people were falling dead like matchsticks, and the snow fell so hard buildings collapsed. A group of children living on the streets had watched their parents die, and as the tears on their faces turned to ice, they knew they had to somehow survive. Teeth chattering, they made their way into a state library building, the only one in a radius of 10 kilometers to have its head out of the snow. Its glass dome looking like slabs of ice. Shivering, they walked into the hall. Hand in hand, small bodies in a giant space, the sounds of their bodies shivering, spreading inside. They looked for corners between the aisles, where the carpets kept the floors warm, pulled at the corners of the carpets and plucked them out, wrapped them around their bodies, each one of them looking like kings and queens with a trail of red following wherever they went. "I'm bored," one of the daughters said. "Me too," said another. And a little one with glasses bigger than his face walked to a shelf and pulled out a hardcover so big he almost fell. When the others had finished laughing, he picked himself up, dusted the book, and presented it to the others. They didn't know then, but it was a moment they shared, the moment before cracking open a beloved book, the Chronicles of Narnia, he said. And that evening, the children sat around one another, a sea of red carpets, listening to a story about a lion, a witch, and a wardrobe, gasping at parts they did not expect. And over the course of days, the children read Malguri Days, The Blue Umbrella, Panchatantra, Tinkle, Amar Chitra Katha. They had little to eat from the vending machine, but their tummies felt so full of stories, they forgot the world was ending. When they finished the children's books, they moved on to read Amrita Pritam, Rabindranath Tagore, Arundhati Roy, Prem Chand, Faiz. They debated ideas, they fought over endings, and on the 100th day, when they ran out of books to read, they looked at one another, confused and hungry and hot. They took off their carpets and realized it wasn't so cold anymore. Well, there was nothing else left to read and they weren't shivering anymore, so they walked out the building. And the world outside was so bright, it hurt their eyes. But after a few minutes, they saw that spring had erupted and the sun shone bright. There were little puddles of water where the snow had melted, and they felt so happy. They hugged each other. And when the grown-ups asked them how they'd managed for 100 days, they had nothing to say. And the grown-ups thought it a miracle, and they scratched their heads. I found this poem at the back of the Narnia book in the state library. The writing said, "This is how we, the children, waited out 100 days of the cold." And as the grown-ups try to look through Wikipedia pages to unravel the mystery, we write this in our beloved book. On some evenings now, when I visit the library, I see a group of people sitting between the aisles in red t-shirts, a man with spectacles bigger than his face reading out to them. And if you look close enough, you can see him emanating the warmth of a child who waited out 100 days of the cold with nothing but books and his dearest friends for company.